Jai Hind. Today I'm going to discuss a topic from Indian Contract Act, that is capacity to contract or competency of the parties, as it is also essential of valid contract. So according to section 11, every person is competent to contract who is of the age of majority according to law to which he is subject, and who is of sound mind and is not disqualified from contracting by any law to which he is subject. So basically, it means that there are following three categories of person who are not competent to the contract. Number one, a person who has not attained the age of majority, that is, a one who is minor. Second one, a person who is of unsound mind. And third one, a person who has been disqualified from contracting by some law. Now I will discuss these three categories in detail. Number one is minor. So as we know that there is no specific definition of minor is provided in the Indian Contract Act, but the section 3 of Indian Majority Act 1875 talks about the majority. It states that when a person completes the age of 18 years, it is considered as major, and when a person of whose person or property a guardian has been appointed by the court, in these cases, the age of majority is considered as 21 years, but in England, the age of majority is 18 years. Next, we talk about the position of a person of unsound mind. As we know that it has already been discussed that in section 11, only a person of sound mind is competent to contract. So it means that if a person is of unsound mind, he is incompetent to contract just like a minor. He is not capable of transferring any property, gift, or deed. As according to section 12, the soundness of mind is required only at the time of making a contract. It is possible that a person who is of usually unsound mind but occasionally of sound mind may make a contract when he is of sound mind. So it means that a person usually of sound mind and occasionally of unsound mind may not make a contract when unsound mind, when he is not in his mental state, in his correct mental state. Next one, a person usually of unsound mind and occasionally of sound mind may make a contract when he is of sound mind. For example, if a patient in a lunatic asylum who is at an interval of sound mind may contract during those intervals. So basically, under section 12 of the Act, a person is said to be of sound mind for the purpose of making the contract if at the time when he makes it, he should be capable of understanding it and forming a rational judgment and its effect upon his interest. Unsoundness of mind may arise due to following condition, that is idiocy, insanity, drunkenness, mental decay, delirious person, hypnotized person. Number one, Number one is idiocy. An idiot, a person who is of idiot by birth, or that means he is unsound mind by birth. His capacity is permanent and therefore he can never understand contract and make a rational judgment as to its effect upon his interest. Consequently, the agreement of an idiot is absolutely void ab initio. Uh, that is void from the very beginning. He is not personally liable even for the payment of necessaries of life supplied to him. Next one is insanity or lunatic. Lunatic is not permanently of sound mind. He can enter into a contract during those lucid intervals, during the period when he is of sound mind. Next one is drunkenness. A drunken or intoxicated person suffers from temporary incapacity to contract. That is, at the time when he is so drunk or intoxicated that he is incapable of forming a rational judgment. The position of a drunken or intoxicated person is similar to that of lunatic. So, a drunk person cannot make rational judgments, cannot know his profit and loss which are arising from a contract. So, he is also considered as a incompetent when he is in a state of drunkenness. Next one is mental decay. There may be mental decay or senile mind due to old age or poor health when such person is not capable of understanding the contract and its effect upon his interest, he cannot enter into a contract. Next one is delirious person. A person delirious from fever is not also capable of understanding the nature and implications of an agreement. Therefore, he cannot enter into a contract so long as delirium lasts. Next, we discuss the topic of person disqualified by any law. Following are the person who are disqualified from the contract by any law, that is, alien enemy, insolvent, convicted person, and married women. So, if we talk about alien enemies, an alien is a foreigner who is not a subject of the country in which he lives. Alien is either a alien friend or alien enemy. An alien whose country is at war or whose country has not good relation with our country is called an alien enemy. Next one is insolvent. A insolvent cannot enter into a contract. He can enter only after when he attained the solvency. Next one is convicted person. A convicted person, while undergoing an imprisonment, is incapable of entering into any contract. But after the completion of imprisonment, he is allowed to enter into any contract. Next, when we talk about married women, a woman is competent to contract only for her separate or personal property. She cannot allow to contract for her husband's property except in special circumstances. If we talk about corporations, a corporation is an artificial person created by law having a legal existence apart from its member. It cannot enter into a contract of strictly personal nature as it is an artificial and not a natural person. So that's all about today's topic. Thank you so much.